Considering that today's age is both one of the easiest and hardest times to be discovered as a musical artist, there are a lot of more really cool smaller artists out there. Considering I also never shut the fuck up about music, I thought it'd be kinda cool to recommend a few smaller bands and artists whose music I really enjoy. I'm keeping small artists as a loose term, by the way, so keep that in mind when I talk about these people. Most of these bands fit in the same general genre of indie pop rock, so if you're not into that, you may not enjoy these bands. Also, these are again just my opinions, so, take it with a grain of salt. The first band I want to mention is called Ugly from the UK. I actually got into them because Cavetown did a cover of their song Switch back in early 2017, and then actually played the song with them live the next month. These boys do weird, funkadelic indie rock all the way from the streets of Cambridge. Their first EP, None the Wiser, isn't on Spotify anymore, but is a cool introduction to them in general. Other than that, they have a slew of singles littered throughout their discography. They released their double single, Sunday School, which obviously followed a religious storyline back in November of 2018, and despite focuses on Bible stories, did not really sound like religious music at all. They've used this before, bringing religious themes into their music to get certain messages across. My favorite songs from them are The Last Supper, The Regal Weatherspoon, Emphysema, Switch, and this really cool instrumental called Pissing in the Sink. Next is a group called Courrier Club, hailing a really super long way. They're from Philly. They make, as they have coined themselves, medium rock, which is actually a pretty accurate statement. Some of their stuff is a little more heavy, some is a little lighter, but all of it will make you want to move your head. They currently only have 4 singles out: Soapbox Sunday, Kangaroo Court, Liza, and Better Now, but are working on a 5th, and hopefully an album soon. They're pretty quiet about other stuff for the most part, but are definitely worth checking out. My favorite by them are currently Soapbox Sunday and Kangaroo Court. Next is a solo artist named Family Reunion. Jackie is yet another emerging artist from the Chicago music scene. After working 3 separate jobs at a mall to pay for recording equipment, she began writing and recording songs in late 2017. While getting caught up in the bedroom pop phase at first, she's now moved on to more jazz and soul-sounding music. She's incredibly personal, incredibly charismatic, and incredibly good. She released a single titled Better recently, delving back into her history in jazz. As a whole, she's just really good, as with all of these artists. My favorite songs by her are Vision, Cavity, Vacation, and OK. The next group is an artist/band named Shortly. Originally starting as a solo project, the now fourth piece released a project titled Richmond, a soft, somewhat acoustic, religiously charged EP that questions relationships with those around Alex, the lead singer and original founder of the group, and her relationship with God. They just released a double single titled Mapping Haven, and I wouldn't miss it if I were you. I saw her perform with Chloe Moriando back in February, and it was incredibly quiet, calming, and one of the best shows I've ever been to. Everything felt really genuine, and it was just really nice overall. My favorite songs by them are Matthew, Finders Keepers, Spare Time, and Mapping. The next band is a little bit of a detach from the whole indie scene. Prince Daddy and the Hyena are a small-ish band from Albany, New York. Pulling inspiration from bands like Pup, they put together a sound that sounds raw and polished at the same time. Their first album, I Thought You Didn't Even Like Leaving, released in 2016, gave a good idea of how energetic and spunky they were, especially when sporting those little Jedi ponytails. They did a split EP with pictures of Vernon and Mom Jeans, who's also a great fucking band, but everyone knows about them, so whatever, called Now That's What I Call Music Volume 420, and have a new album, Cosmic Thrill Seeker, is set to come out 28th of June 2019. It's being released as a 3-act project, Act 1 being The Heart Passenger, Act 2 being The Brain Driver, and Act 3 being The Roar Random Passerby. Then to reflect lead singer Corey Gregory's mental health, the singles they've released so far have been promising as ever, and highlight a great upcoming album. My favorite songs by them are I Thought You Didn't Even Like Leaving, I Wish I Could Control Alt Delete My Life, Bathtub, Really, and I Lost My Life. Next, It Looks Sad. That's the band, by the way, not just what people say when they look at me. It Looks Sad was started by lead singer Jimmy Turner from North Carolina, and has gone through several stages. Their first EP, self-titled, was released 2014, featuring mixed and heavy indie rock. They released a double single called Kaiju in 2016, featuring the song Creature, which is still their most popular song to date. Their debut album, Sky Lake, was finally released in November of 2018. Branching somewhat off from their roots, the album featured many ambient, transitional tracks, occasional autotune, as well as some of their familiar chill indie rock. I slept on this album for like 4 months after it came out, but after coming back to it, I enjoy it more than ever. In their Audio Tree live session, the host mentioned that someone had dropped acid before listening, which in a way is sort of telling of the vibes they give off.
Here, I've been checking the chat rooms on the live stream, and it's popping off.
Nice.
Yeah, some woman said she just took some acid before she started the live stream. So shout out that girl. It's far away in the comments now. So I don't.
Anyways, my favorite songs by them are Fingers, Ocean, Creature, Sisters, Bike, and Drool. Finally, I want to talk about From Anita Lakes. I'm going to try and keep this brief because being my favorite band, I could talk about them literally forever. I may end up doing a video on them later regardless, so look out for that. From Indian Lakes is a project started by Joey Venucci, get this, from Indian Lakes, California. He grew up in a fairly rural environment and chose to spend his time making and learning music. They've released 4 albums total: The Man with Wooden Legs, Able Bodies, Absent Sounds, and Everything Feels Better Now, although he doesn't really seem to acknowledge the first one very often. Signed to Triple Crown Records, which is the same as Shortly, they've also released several acoustic EPs, as well as an alternate version of Everything Feels Better Now titled EFBN Tapes. Ranging from religiously charged rock to ambient synth-based love tales to existential indie jams, they've made a statement in every record, and each one is as, if not more, memorable than the previous. I highly recommend you check them out. My favorite songs from them are The Man with Wooden Legs, Stay Outside, We Follow, Breathe Desperately, Fog, Happy Machines, The Monster, and Feel Love. One quick honorable mention: based off of his Spotify numbers, Aries is technically not a small artist in the slightest, but he still feels like one. Getting his start on YouTube, he released various singles all throughout 2016 and 2018, finally releasing his debut project, Welcome Home, April of 2019. He has managed to create a very memorable sound in the wing of pop and emo rap, paired with a very distinct visual aesthetic. He also produces his own music with some minor help from friends, and is to this date still independent. My favorite songs by him are Dead Man Wonderland, Genie, Race Car, and Bad News. Oh yeah, I forgot one more. Tim Smith. He fucking sucks. And that is all. I seriously hope you consider checking out some of these artists. They all put a ton of work into their sound, and seeing any of them get the chance to be exposed to more people is super cool. All of the artists' info, ads, links, etc. will be linked in the description for easy access. This may be the last video I do for the rest of the summer, as I am broke and do not have the money to buy a laptop and or Final Cut Pro. For those that don't know, I actually edit these at school, and as I'm leaving it until like August, I won't have any way to put these together unless I find some other editor or my own editing software at home. I'll figure it out. I've been seeing a lot of support on the recent videos, and I really appreciate it. If you enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. I am on Twitter. My Twitter @ will be in the description from now on, and I post updates on videos from there, so if you want to follow that, you can stay updated as well. Besides that, though, that's all from me, and I will talk to you guys later.